Yes, you're
Good
welcome.
afternoon.
Thank
Good
you, my dear. You're
afternoon.
welcome. You're welcome and happy Sunday.
You are
Yes.
doing great work. Oh, God continue to strengthen you.
Thank you, my sister. God will hear our
And
prayers. So thank you
I
for your
love the
support.
work you are doing. Keep it up. Oh.
Thank you for all your support, all your encouragement.
Thank
You're
God, ma.
welcome. Yes.
Yes, ma. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. So I want to share something with us that I think will benefit the diabetics, those with high blood pressure, those that are going through prostate issues. These are real health challenges these days. And then I thought I should share it. Now, the subject I want to talk about is the cassava root. The cassava root as a medicine, for therapeutic purpose. And we all know cassava root. That before now, I want to also quickly do a little flashback. We are made to believe actually that cassava is very poisonous. That's how we were raised. And truly, there are two varieties of cassava, the bitter cassava and the sweet cassava. And so as I shall be talking about the benefits and the various ways it can help to support our health, I would like to also give some hints and advice on how we can go about it. Because it's not enough to hear something on the internet. I have a sample of it here. Look at it. I brought it to show. So it is not easy for you to distinguish the edible one from the poisonous one. But all the cassava roots contain a high amount of cyanide. It's an acid that can cause a kind of poisoning when taken too much, or if it's not prepared in the right way. It took me some time to come to agree that we can boil the cassava as a root and eat it. And having tested it over a long period of time, I thought it is now time for us also to know about it. Now, the cassava root is a root vegetable. What do I mean by that? When we say root vegetable, we mean those food that you get from under the ground. That is, you get it from the cassava stem, from the ground, you dig it from the soil. So this, like the sweet potatoes, we have the yam, we call it the cocoa yam, and several others like that. These are all root vegetables. And there is something also I want to point out about the cassava before we move on to the real talk of the day. Cassava root is a gluten-free food. And what do I mean by gluten-free? Now, several grains that most people depend on for diet, especially when going through several health challenges, they contain gluten, especially wheat, because wheat has often been accused of gluten, but I also often say that it is when it is too much that it becomes unhealthy for us. Now, the gluten is actually a kind of protein that seem to kind of stay longer in the body. And a lot of people also have this gluten sensitivity when they take gluten-rich foods. And when you consume this gluten in high amounts, it normally causes some health challenges. Sometimes cannot even be detected in the laboratory. Now, the cassava root is a gluten-free root vegetable, which those that are experiencing gluten sensitivity can fall on it as a kind of food. So why do I have to talk about this food today? Now, the cassava is a food that is a staple for many people in Nigeria. For many years, they ferment it to take as maybe swallow, make it for gari, for various, food purposes. But only recently have we come to realize that you can boil this cassava, the edible cassava, please. You can boil it just like yam and enjoy it. And if you have tasted it, you will agree with me that it's even something to cherish, or it's something you would like to go for in place of sweet potatoes. And that's my own opinion anyway. Now, the yam is also important. It's important to always find out or get your source from someone who knows the variety that you want to eat, just like the one I showed you. So it's a rich source of iron, calcium, magnesium, potassium, niacin, some amount of proteins, and a lot of even copper. It has a good amount of copper, and copper is a rare a rare nutrient in foods, but it's a good source of it. It does a lot. I have used it. So the aspect of it that concerns the diabetics is the aspect that it has this resistant kind of starch. I want every diabetic to please pay attention, because when we are talking of managing diabetes naturally, we must also consume foods that will give us the nutrient that we need for our heart health, because it has nutrients that supports heart health. And the two nutrients that support heart health almost to the highest point is magnesium and calcium. I hope we're getting that. Now, when diabetic complications, where it comes up is where the body fails to get the needed nutrients to function on a daily basis. And for the heart aspect, the calcium is needed. For instance, it helps the heart to constrict when there is sufficient calcium in the body. But the magnesium helps also help the heart to relax. But whereas many people go on calcium supplement, which I have said I do not subscribe to supplementation of calcium, because most of the supplemented calcium are carbonated calcium. Now, this is it has a good amount of calcium, and calcium is an electrolyte. I'll be telling us also those other people that will benefit by including the edible cassava, boiled as yam, in their diet moderately. Mark the word moderately, because we have often said that moderation is our rule. It has its own ugly side. Every food, no matter how good it is, has its ugly side, and we must beware of that. That when you take it too much, the ugly side will definitely show up. And the same thing applies with this food. For diabetics, for instance, diabetics need the resistant kind of starch found in cassava root in order to release, for the slower release of sugar in the blood, so that you do not have to require the insulin, the pancreas, for instance, to overwork. Because when we take foods that have simple sugars regularly, the pancreas seems to be working over time. I mean, trying to produce insulin to mop up the excess sugar coming from the food we are eating. But when we consume resistant type of starch like the one found in cassava, it helps to reduce the insulin sensitivity that occurs because of the type of carbohydrates we eat, which is the simple carbs. And this complex carbohydrates found in the cassava also helps our gut health. And that is why it is also able to support those who are having headaches, because sometimes it's linked to the gut issues. And the gut issues are supported by resistant starchy foods, such as found in this root vegetable. Now, this resistant starch helps to support or feed the gut bacteria. We may call them prebiotics. They provide support for the gut bacteria, friendly gut bacteria, I call it, because not all of the gut bacteria are friendly. There are friendly gut bacteria. So that's one of the advantages. So it's a gut supporting food. And I have always said that the life of everyone, not everyone, everything begins in the gut. And that is why we must pay close attention to gut supporting foods and to our gut health. The cassava root is also a food that is loaded with the nutrients that support proper energy production. And that is one of the work of the copper found in cassava roots. If you are somebody that is always weak, and this is one of the challenges of diabetics, because when there is too much restriction in the diet, and you've been told not to eat this, you can't eat that, you can't eat this, you can't eat grain, you can't, even the wheat that so many diabetics have rested their hope have been found to be faulty too, because of the too much gluten in the wheat. And as I speak, so many people are still unaware that gluten is, when taken frequently in large amounts, it causes health issues, gut problems, in a way like that, especially the processed wheat, the ones that are already processed. Welcome. I think there's someone else there. You're welcome. So I want to also say that I'm still talking about benefits the diabetics now. Now, the diabetics also need food in this regard to help them to be able to get most of the nutrients that support the heart, because the heart is the pumping machine. And we must focus on any food that supports the heart to function well. Ignorance of the heart supporting foods is the reason why many people come down with heart attack, heart failure, and other heart-related issues, regular heartbeats. Now, when you hear people say their heart, they are experiencing irregular heartbeat, or you can hear your heart pumping, then something is wrong. It's either there is a low magnesium, low calcium, potassium, and thereabout. And of course, you know the heart's worst enemy. Our heart's worst enemy is fat. And this fat is not found in good amount in this food. So if you are looking for food that is relatively low in fat, fat, all kinds of fat, then you should consider including this in your list. Magnesium, calcium, iron, some proteins, niacin, copper, folate, just vitamin C, just name it. They are all found in very good amount. And additionally, it helps to fight constipation. Constipation is one of the worst enemies. I think there's somebody else in the house. You're welcome. I welcome you. As I see you coming in, I say welcome you, but it's only one person that can, as my sister already did. So when I talk of the relative, the amount of nutrients that are found in it, you will discover that they are the nutrients that helps to support fight against diseases such as diabetes, such as high blood pressure, such as prostate health. I have actually had close interaction with people who are going through prostate issues and who started consuming it. Who started consuming the cassava root, and honestly, there were testimonies. The frequency of urination improved. This is something I know, and this is some people I have come close, I've interacted with. So it's something that I know that is working for people. I have been consuming it. It's working. It's good for nerve issues too. But when taken in high amount, I mean, when you take it too much, it actually works the other way, because it works like a reverse. Instead of giving you the other result, you get it on the other side. So the cassava root is a beneficial food when considering the fact that the wheat, which many diabetics were putting their hopes on, it's like their hope is being dashed. And here we have another hope for us. And thanks for research. Thanks for all the studies that are going on every day. We never knew some of these things. We thought it was only through processing like fermentation and other such ways that we could enjoy cassava through long processing. But today, we know that you can boil it. But before you boil it, I said, and I want to repeat, do not just see anyone in the market. There have been cases of people who ate cassava and died. And I think it is this type of stories that is very scary to the, those in the village and some of the rural dwellers. So when they hear it, they get so frightened because the people did not prepare it the right way. And then the people also may have eaten the wrong species of this root vegetable, very nice vegetable. They must have eaten the wrong species, because every food actually has its the very species of it. There are different species in almost all the foods. I have told us through some of our chat that even the bell pepper that we take have female, it has male. And I told you how to identify. Some of the things we cannot even explain it, including the pawpaw we take. We have the male, we have the female. But this is all we are reading about through research. But before the research came, people knew that there are things that are just different in the two. And they know when to use which. And so in the case of this cassava root, we never knew it's so rich, so beneficial to health. And we were kept like in darkness as to the way we could just, this beautiful way that we could just include it to reverse or to support health. But thanks for researchers, and thanks for such, communication that we've been getting through social medias and other platforms also, that we have opportunities to learn, just as I'm teaching us. No, I have consumed it, I've boiled it, used it with many sources, I've tested it, and I found that it's great for blood sugar. It's great for weight loss. It's great for constipation. It's great for brain issues because of niacin and other nutrients in it. It's a brain supporting food. All those that need something for energy, those who are usually feeling weak, like diabetics. They have that some of the symptoms of usually feeling weak, maybe due to low iron or for some other reasons, even calcium. Low calcium can make someone feel very weak also. And so when you are wondering which food, what other food should I be eating? These are questions that come to me on a regular basis. Say, Mama, what do you want us to eat? You said the wheat is not good. And that is why I chose to come on live to share with us that there are other foods and more as they come in. So we need to get to know this food to identify the real. If you have a way to plant it, it's very easy. You just take the stem of it. If you have a place at your backyard, it grows well. It's one of the easiest, things you can plant. You just open the soil. It doesn't require much fertilizer for you to do it. It's one of the trees or crops that can grow anywhere, even where there is no water or whatever. It can do well virtually on a very drought place. So that is the advantage. You can plant it at your backyard. You can make a space and put it there, the stem. If you ensure to get the real one, that is the edible one. Because after doing so much reading and studies, I still have to inquire from the street people, one-on-one contact, to ensure that I do not take the bitter one. Because there is a bitter one, there is the sweet one. I said that before. And then those who consume the bitter cassava, several people died in the past, and that scared people away. And a lot of people ran away because they heard that so person consumed this and died. And so they said, no, don't go there. Follow this process. But when you get this edible one, you will love it. If you are diabetic, that's a good news for you. I tell you, you love it. It tastes so nice. Your blood sugar will be stable. When you take it and you check your sugar hours later, you will like the way you feel. If that feeling of wellness will be there. That's what I have found out. And it's based on this listening to my body that I have also come to share that it is something you really need to try. You really need to give it a try. It's very easy. When you want to you don't need to boil it with the pills because of the cyanide content of it. It's a source of cyanide, which the toxicity of it can lead to death. And this is what has caused death in some persons and some children in some countries. And the news all over the world has kept a lot of people from consuming this healthy food that can help manage a lot of ailments, including rheumatoid arthritis. Take note of that. And another thing that we need also to know why we need to include it is it supports the bone density. And women particularly are usually affected after childbearing with bone-related issues, osteoporosis and similar issues. And so if you need food to strengthen your bone, it's not wheat. Wheat is a source of calcium. It's a source of calcium and protein, but it's not the best when you put it side by side with cassava root, this edible cassava. The cassava root is totally gluten-free and is a bone-supporting food. And if you see any bone-supporting food, please embrace it. As we age, one of the parts of the body that we should give close attention to is our bones, because it's the bone that's actually carrying everything, including the chambers of the heart. It's the bone that is carrying it. When I hear people complain of irregular heartbeat, sometimes I think or I consider that low calcium may be the cause. Low magnesium may be the cause, because sometimes when the heart beats, and it's not able to relax, when it constricts like this and it's not able to relax because there is no magnesium in the body. Anything can happen. And people say maybe due to consumption of too much of caffeine and several other things, or low calcium, as a matter of fact, or too much of leafy teas. When you take too much leafy teas, it can also leach calcium out of the body. I have observed personally on some occasions when I say, okay, I like to drink so many teas, I drink this, I drink that. But then you are drinking later in the night, the rhythm of the heart changes. I have noticed it and I've observed it. The rhythm of the heart changes, start to beat another sound, something that you can hear. And of course, that's not a friendly sound. When you can hear it, the sound of your heart as it's beating. And most times, low calcium, too much leafy teas. But this particular food, and I repeat, has a lot, if you take it moderately. It has magnesium for you to help the heart to relax. It has calcium to support it. And again, it has iron. The only thing that is also lacking in it, which is a plus for those with high blood pressure, actually, because of the presence of potassium, because of the presence of magnesium, calcium is also very good for them. And again, those who are managing stroke, it has good amount of folate. If you want to prevent stroke, are we listening, please? If you are working as an elderly person, you want to consume foods that can help to prevent stroke, then you need to consider this particular root vegetable. Remember, there are several reasons now I've mentioned why we must begin to look at it. It's highly anti-inflammatory too. It's gluten-free. It supports our gut health. It helps to also to support the heart because of the unique nutrients in it, providing calcium, magnesium, iron, and a lot of other nutrients that helps our heart to function well. And another thing I noticed is that it also helps with feelings of depression. I may not have a scientific anything about it, but that is how it does. You have that feeling of wellness right from your mind down. So that feeling of feeling depressed won't be there. I may not have the particular nutrient in it doing the job, but that is one of the feelings I have observed, using consuming this root vegetable. It's great for prostate health. I have heard from users who are close to me, who are my followers. I have also had several of them who testified of improvement to the frequency of urination when they started consuming this cassava. It's a source of a unique nutrient, B17, which we have also heard. Every day, research is coming up telling us, of some vitamins we never knew before. And now we know that B17, some unique things in this food that helps it. So if someone is managing prostate issues, you can begin to consider including this as a staple food for quality energy and to begin to shrink the prostate and begin to reduce the frequency of urination, because there are different symptoms. But the one I know and I've heard that it was able to help reduce this frequency is that of urination. When the consumption of cassava fruit was included in the diet, it also helps to tackle constipation. If you are experiencing constipation, you should consider including it. It helps with aiding digestion. And one aspect, it helps to kill yeast. I mean, it helps to stop them. How it does it, I don't know, but I have noticed it. I have personally noticed that it helps to, reduce the activity of fungus in the body. It reduces the activity of fungus. It doesn't provide nutrients for them. They don't have food when you consume this cassava root. It's important to know that when preparing it, I want to talk briefly. Preparing it, you don't have to cook it with the peels. Like we have often been told concerning sweet potatoes that the nutrients is in the peels, that when you cook with the peels, you get, or you can even consume with the peels. But in this case, it's a different ball game. The cyanide is actually in the peels. You have to remove the peels very well. And when you are removing the peels of the cassava, you can see that it's clearly nature has clearly demarcated it. It's not like modern nature has demarcated. It's not like sweet potatoes where you have to be scraping the peels, showing you that even the modern nature doesn't want you to remove the peels. But in the case of the cassava root, there is already a boundary. If I bring it out and cut it, I'll show you. You will see there is a boundary between where to remove and where to consume. And so when you get certain, I think God has already known that this is how it's going to be. So the nutrient is not actually in the peels of the cassava as we found in the peels of the sweet potatoes or in the peels of the unripe plantain. But the dangerous acid is actually in the peels. So we need to remove the peels, then wash it, cut it, and then just cook it normally. Add salt or sea salt like I normally do. Just add my sea salt while cooking it, wash it after removing the peels, and then make a sauce with any sauce with vegetables, because it has a relatively high amount of calorie, almost 40 milligrams or so. I don't of calorie, carbs and calories. So being a source of calorie, of course, you should know that you shouldn't consume it with another food that is high in calorie. I like to pair it with eggs. Egg sauce, onions, some vegetables, tomatoes. These are low calorie vegetables that it can go favorably with. And then if you want to take tea and whatever thing, but it's not okay to pair it with another high carb, another high calorie food. It wouldn't help as a healing food. It's already a high calorie, it has its own calorie, which is relatively high. So, but when you want to consume it, as I often do, whenever I want to consume it, I remove the peels as I told us, and then it's easily removable, wash, put in the pot, so delicious, in fact. On the gas fire, about 15-20 minutes, it's already soft and looking so white and attractive, so beautiful, so tasty. So you consume it, in moderation. When you consume it, as I've often told us, always listen to your body. And that's why I decided also to tell us, because some of the things I share are based on also my own listening to. The science came out with some of the, medical research that we are hearing today. Our body was the main laboratory that was our main source of information on which foods and which foods we should avoid. So when you eat any food, despite what you must have read or heard, you need to pay attention. Don't rush it. Don't start consuming large amounts. Just you take and you listen. You listen to what your body is. And after consuming it, you watch how you feel the whole of the day. A diabetic, for instance, will notice quality energy because there is no fat in it. Because the fat is one of the worst enemy of our body. So, and it's other nutrients that you need. So, and the person that has prostate issue will notice that the way the urination is improved. The high blood pressure will notice after checking few hours that there is an improvement. And those that have low energy, most important, because it's a source of big group of vitamins And this big group of vitamins are very, very good. They are the major reason for if you don't get enough, feeling weak. Riboflavin and a lot of them, they are saying a lot of other folates. They're all big group of vitamins. And so if you are somebody that is always weak, low energy, you need to start to include it. You need to start to include it. Start boiling it and then consuming it. And when you are taking it, you have to bear in mind that you have to reduce your carbs for the day from other sources. You must be conscious of this. The other sources where you bring in carbohydrates, you must be mindful of them. So when you boil it and eat, for instance, you don't have to prepare gari in the evening again, or you need to look for a swallow or something like that. You should have in mind that you have taken a good amount of the carb through the this root vegetable. And it's important to take note of that because overall carb, the required daily amount daily, if you run above it, then problem may show up. Problem may show up in the sense that may begin to experience maybe high blood sugar and other things, which may even make you begin to think that there is no result. But when you take it and bear in mind that of the calorie count amount, the carbs and other things, you will notice that you won't be hungry. And that takes me to the next point, weight loss. Now, if you are trying to lose weight in a healthy way, this is another food you should also include. If you have issues losing weight, please include it. You eat it and you won't just be hungry for the whole day because it has resistant starch. And in addition to having resistant starch, it has a lot of other nutrients that support your overall well-being and immune system. And one of the most interesting aspects of this food is the vitamin A content. Now, the vitamin A content supports your eyes. It supports your eyes. For those who are looking for food to include in order to improve eye health, it supports your eyes. And that's one of the reasons I'm actually interested in it. Because we need to continue, don't undermine the power of food to improve our sight. If you are eating right, foods that are rich in vitamin A, your health, your eyes, instead of deteriorating, it will not deteriorate. It will continue to improve, or if it doesn't, it will not deteriorate. I remember the last time I went for my spectacle. I mean, the optician was surprised that it's the same strength that I have been using for more than 14 years that I have been using. So they were asking what actually is the reason for it. Why have you upgraded? And you are reading with it. So I have to tell them the secret. And you know the secret. There is a reason why. So why haven't you upgraded your lenses for more than 15 years? This is the same strength you're using. You have not added one. When people are upgrading their eyeglass for every 6 months, they come for upgrade. You are using the same that you used since the day you started. That you must come and tell us the magic that you're doing. And the secret is when you focus on vitamin A rich foods. And most vitamin A rich foods we know, like mangoes, carrots, they're not good for diabetes. When you consume them, they are quite high in sugar. So it's always difficult for such people to find a food that will supply the nutrients the body needs for their daily function. And here is one that does not have such amount of sugar, simple sugars, to help to support the eyes, to help to support the bones, to help to support the heart, to help to support the brain, to help to support the digestive health, the gut health. I mean, feeding the beneficial gut bacteria, to help to strengthen our immune system, and then to help to reduce feelings or symptoms of anxiety attacks. to help to support fight against diabetes, to help to support prostate enlargement, and to help to support high blood pressure, to regulate blood pressure to normal. That is what we are talking about. And you can find it only in. Okay, thanks for your comment, Margaret Bola. Yeah, I appreciate you. So thanks for the enlightenment. How many tubers should a person with? Okay, thank you for that. That's the question. So how many tubers should a person with high blood pressure eat at once? Okay, that's a lovely one. Okay, we come. Now it depends on you. It depends on the individual. But I have always said that the best tool is to always also listen to your body. Even if I tell you and your doctor says this, you have your own particular need. But for me, for instance, if I take a tuber like this, look at one tuber like this. Look at it. It depends on your need. And I peel it. You can see this one I'm showing you. Can you see it? Now if I peel this one and slice it, for somebody with high blood pressure, it's okay for a meal. Because why it's okay is that you definitely cannot consume it alone. You have to include other things like egg, fish, or meat, vegetables. Even I have tested it with some amount of black-eyed cowpea, more amount of black-eyed cowpea, and it was good with meat, small portion of cow's meat, because you need to include small amount of protein in it. Definitely. The last time I took it, I had to add one egg, make sauce. Not very delicious. Then I got the lemongrass and prepare it, adding tiger nuts and dates and all those things. And I used to enjoy myself, and I was feeling very, very good throughout the day. I was not hungry till evening. And I was not hungry till evening. I thought it's something we need to hear. We need to hear, because there are several foods we eat. Before 1 p.m., you're already hungry. And such food cannot help with weight loss. It cannot help with blood sugar. Because any food that can help you to stay without food, and the food is rich, contains most of the nutrients that you need for the day, you don't need to worry. And like this one I showed you now, you don't have to eat it. You can eat like 3 or 4 times in a week. It doesn't have to be daily. Because some of us have a tendency to, when we eat something and it's good, every day we're eating it. Every day. And of course, it's very tempting to do it with this cassava, because it tastes very nice too. It tastes very, very nice. You may have the temptation to want to eat every day, but because of our rule, which I have always said, moderation is our rule. Food is our medicine. That's our slogan. But moderation. Thank you. Okay, I already answered that question. Somebody is making a comment. He said, how many times in a week? I said I consider, in my own opinion, that 3 to 4 times in a week should be okay. But I know people that can take up to 5 times, because I do not agree that you should focus on one food. There must be something unique. It's very tempting. You can take it. But why I say that it should be about 3 to 4 times in a week. And I prepare it in the morning anyway, because of the calories, small calories there, so that the calorie can carry you along. But if you take it regularly or daily, those who have thyroid issues, are you listening to me? It might trigger a thyroid kind of an either overactive or underactive thyroid. So if you have thyroid issues, you should also be careful. I'm going to the cautious aspect now. If you have thyroid issues, you should be careful also with the cassava root. Not to avoid it. It's a great food for you. But don't take it regularly, because it may reduce. Research have shown that those who consumed it too frequently, they experience a reduced stock of iodine in the body. And so that could lead to thyroid issue, for those who are already experiencing inflamed thyroid. So if you take it like 3-4 times a week, I think it's okay. Other days, there are other foods you can take. There are other carbohydrates, plantain, and whatever stuff you have there. You can take them occasionally, but this one is just a part of the of your food that will help to boost your health generally, as I said. I mean, boost your health generally, helps you to sleep. I mean, sleep well. When you have good amount of magnesium, your sleep, you have a kind of sleep that is refreshing. Okay, I see, but okay, many times. Okay, you already. So, by the grace of God, remember to hit the subscribe button. Don't overdo it. Too much can cause something like thyroid issues may come up, even headache. In as much as it could help with headache, it could also reduce, it could also cause headache when it's too much. Dizziness, other toxic feelings, like, feeling a kind of anxiety feeling and feeling like vomiting, other signs of toxicity, because it's a source of cyanide and other uncomfortable feelings. But as long as you take it moderately, you don't take too much, you are good to go. It's a big congratulations to those of us who are managing even rheumatoid arthritis. Please, I won't forget to say that rheumatoid arthritis is always a problem for those who are experiencing those kind of issues. Whatever they eat, it seems to offend. They eat, if they eat gluten, it offends. They eat this, it offends. Every food seems to offend. But you need to try gluten-free foods. And those who are having skin problems, I know I didn't tell us that it's a source of vitamin C, because vitamin C is so common, and when we boil it, the vitamin C is reduced. But that vitamin C helps with collagen formation. And collagen formation is very important as we age, because that is the reason why when our skin is trying to become flabby and too soft, that is lack of collagen. And we need to increase vitamin C rich foods, increase exercising in order for collagen. And there is sufficient amount of vitamin C in this food to help with collagen formation and to reduce signs of aging. By the grace of God, we'll be ending it here now. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and to follow, because I shall be coming your way. Thank you for coming. Do have a lovely day. You have any question, my young man? I can see you.
I have a question, ma.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'll be glad.
How will I recognize the poisonous from the one that is not poisonous from this
Okay, I
cassava
already
with
said that
prostate?
from the beginning, but I want to say something.
Yes,
I said from
yes.
the beginning that no matter how you hear something on internet, on social media, you must, something like this cassava now, you cannot know this unless you ask somebody who knows, all these local people, that they should recommend the edible cassava for you. You have to get in touch with the person that have access to it, and the person, that because of it has caused death in so many people. And that's why, because of the mindset we were giving, we were afraid. I myself, before I tasted it the first day, I had to pray very well, even
Have
though
you?
I went. No, I'm not, it's not a funny thing, even though I went to somebody who knows about it, and this local people, and the person recommended it to me, and I said I want to even plant it at my backyard, which I did. So I started to get it from that person, to to consume, to give to some of my, or for some of my acquaintances now, some people who will be calling, say, I don't have it anywhere, please help me, or this and that. So we're doing it. But the first day I ate it, my dear, I prayed though. I prayed, I was so afraid. After
You.
cooking it, I looked at it, I prayed and prayed. I taste more, I check whether I'm feeling dizzy, and gradually I started. And for it's more than 3 4 years I have been, and it's been a great addition. So if you need it, if you have that will and you desire to have it, to add it, and you must have it, because definitely every older adult, because it's a good source of quality energy. When I talk of energy, real energy that lasts, that will make your bones strong. Most older adults should embrace it. They should prepare it for them. Some of these findings, as we know today, 7 years ago, we didn't know it, including myself. We didn't know it. Because if I knew it too,
Thank you.
I know some cases that I would have given the recommendation for it to use. But it's something like 5 6 years ago that I began to really get more awareness about this particular food, and so it's increasing. So I want you to make your own personal this thing. Ask people around. Say you heard that there is an edible cassava. Well, how can you get it? How can they help you? And depending on your location too. So if you have a place
Thank
to
you, ma.
plant it, when they give you, you prepare it, look at it. But I know once you get from a known somebody, you don't need to worry. If the person tells you this one is edible, and it's becoming very common these days because of this awareness we are creating. So the awareness we are making is making people to get more interested in it, and they're trying to even get it, plant it for commercial purposes. That is it.
That's good.
Especially when you
Thank you, ma.
consider the health benefits. All right. All right. Are we okay? I think I've answered your question. I'm still here. But I'll be. If there's any more question, I'll be glad to take it. That's a privilege of having a live chat and live interaction, because you can't always have it. You can have the privilege to ask your question and have it answered in good time. That is the advantage. I appreciate you also for coming. I appreciate all of you. All of you that started with me and staying till now. I appreciate you. I know the knowledge you gained, you will also use it to help others, because knowledge is profitable, very, very profitable, and how to direct. So, thank you so much.
Thank you so
I
much, ma.
appreciate you.
More grease to your elbow.
Thank you so much. Thanks for all your support. Remain blessed.
Amen.